up, Dante? What up, baby? All right.
Should I just go straight into ball hogs?
Get Brick. Get Brick. You know, could you be Brick? I need to get Rick. Rick Barry. Rick Barry. Coach Barry.
Yep. Oh, you mean the key ceremony that just happened? Oh, okay, got it. Got it. Okay.
Number 5, the first woman in history to hold the men's professional team, a national champion at Old Dominion, and a member of the James Smith Hall of Fame. The head coach for Power, Nancy Lieberman.
My Minnesota guy.
Ask him. I got you.
Memphis, Tennessee, the destination of the Big Three, Week 4, just outside Beale Street. We're inside here, FedEx Forum, Sloan Martin, Jim Jackson along with you. Let's talk about the Ball Hogs. First, you called them, what was your wild prediction in Week 1? And here they are with the best point differential in the Big Three.
And we're going to talk to Rick Barry a little bit about why it's a difference this year. I don't know what it was about coming into the season. I thought they would have an opportunity to finally get to the playoffs, and they're doing that right now, 2-1, with an opportunity to get to 3-1. But it's not going to be easy against an experienced power team who has won it before, and they figured out how to play their basketball game. It's going to be explosive right now.
Well, they have that dynamic duo of Leandro Barbosa and Udo Unique, kind of a 1-2 punch for this squad.
It is the quickness about Barbosa, the shooting from Jody Meeks is a really good combination. Not a little smaller in the backcourt than most teams, but they play off of each other effectively well, and they force you to have to guard in space, which opens up some opportunities for Summers inside, but also for Jalen Johnson.
Some of the best scorers and producers in the Big Three play off each other so well, leading to the Ball Hogs, a 2-1 record, plus 20 in point differential. Here's the rosters presented by PNC Bank. Barbosa, Meeks, Jeff Ayers, DeJuan Summers, and Jalen Johnson for the Ball Hogs. Cat Mobley, Royce White, Keelan Mitchell, Len Rice Jr., and TJ Klein. And that power group, Jim, so incredibly balanced. They're always moving, looking to pass. We got 4 players taking between 20 and 23 shots total for this season.
But keep your mind in the spacing and the player and ball movement, in particular when TJ Klein enters the game. That's his specialty. You got to watch out for him on side out of bounds plays, underneath out of bounds plays. Nancy Lieberman, probably one of the best coaches in the league at drawing up those opportunity plays off of a dead ball situation.
And the rules for the Big Three: first to 50 wins, no game clock, to have a 14-second shot clock. Free throws determined by where the shooter was fouled. It'll be 1 shot, either 2, 3, or 4 points. And of course, you'll see the circles on the court, the 4-point shot animation of the Big Three that is extended elsewhere, Jim. It's actually even used in the WNBA All-Star game where they put those 4-point circles around. So you see it starting to grow and take hold in other basketball arenas.
Well, let me say this. Back in the day with the ABA, when the ABA came out with a three-point shot, the NBA laughed at it and said it's a gimmick until they incorporated it into their game and how effective it's been, and look where it's at in today's game. So I'm not saying that the 4-point shot is next, but don't laugh at it, because it could be in effect one day for professional basketball.
As ranges in all levels of basketball, men and women, just continue to extend and extend and extend, maybe we'll see that kind of efficiency inside that circle. Just any part touching it makes it a 4-point basket.
Beautiful.
Good feed, Barbosa to air, threading the needle for 2.
Well, Rick Barry was kind enough to bless us, and I asked a question, what's the difference with this year's team? He said, passing and body movement. We saw it on that possession right there. That's one of the areas they've improved so much on. Tino Mobley with the shot. All 5 players can shoot the 3, which gives you space to work. And I think that's the key for them.
This Ball Hogs group is trying to turn the tide of this team that has not made the playoffs. They've been in existence since 2017. And this could be the year with a healthy Barbosa. As Mobley loses it out of bounds, spinning in the paint.
This one ain't working.
The win today for the Ball Hogs would be the most wins since 2021. They're 3-5.
Right. But to be there in going into week 4, it's a really good indication. One, that you finish it out, hopefully with no injuries or anything, you make the playoffs, and that you give yourself a viable opportunity to compete for a championship. And I think the roster construction, which they were able to draft, has boded well, obviously, for the Ball Hogs.
White loses it. Goes in the corner to Meeks. He is one of the best sharpshooters in the Big 3. White now steps around the defender. One more try, 3 times no good. Doesn't make it feel good if you're the Ball Hogs, giving up those gifts that weren't able to go. He attacks the glass again.
See the activity by Royce White, able to keep that possession alive. He had multiple tips at it, didn't get it in. Cat missed that shot, but it was Royce White's activity that gave Power another possession.
Coming off a 20-point lead, hit a couple threes in this range too, and slicing in the lane is Rice, last year's Big 3 Rookie of the Year. There's quite a legacy with his father, the Michigan great. Barbosa, they go under the screen, takes their pay. An early 5-2 lead for the Ball Hogs. Now we're looking to get established offensively. Rice, one-on-one against Barbosa. Takes a hit, an awkward shot, and it still goes off glass.
Now, two things can be right at the same time. And what I mean by that was really good defense by Barbosa, but it was better offense by Glenn Rice Jr. to be able to get that contact and finish.
I thought Barbosa had him tied up.
Yes, sir.
He responds offensively, just sneaking in for the lay-in.
He was one of the first players, think about when he played for Phoenix and I played with him, he would always get his shoulder up underneath his opponent, going the opposite way, being able to finish with that inside hand. And you saw it on that last possession. This is what made him so tough. He's taller than what you think, but see how he dips that shoulder? He dips that right shoulder, gets beneath his defender, and he's able to explode and finish.
Is that something that allowed him to make such a good jump coming from Brazil and establishing himself in the NBA to be that sixth player of the year?
Well, he wasn't, you think about this, he wasn't, when he came into the league, a viable three-point threat from regards to shooting the ball. But at 6'3", his speed and his length and his athleticism, it was extremely tough to keep him in front of you. And he broke down the defense, whether that was in transition or in a half-court game.
Now a part of the Mike Brown Sacramento Kings staff, and congrats to him. I mean, you get the Coach of the Year, I feel like that kind of goes to everyone too.
Well, shout out to Mike Brown and what he was able to do with Sacramento. Again, you think about it, Mike Brown, Barbosa together at Golden State. So the relationship was established there. And I'm happy for Mike Brown because in his current stops, Cleveland, LA, it really wasn't he wasn't able to put his stamp on the team because you have LeBron, Kobe over there. But this is a team that he was able to mold. And you use Barbosa and his experience. He brings that to the table. Speaking of which, power, played together. See the excellent passing that time, able to get an easy layup inside.
This is emblematic of Power's TJ Klein, the coach's son, enters the game. Was a big factor on this team last year.
He's going to put a lot of pressure on the beautiful pass, and that's the coordination too between two guards that can play together. The passing between the two, and I was going to say with TJ Klein coming in the game, this is when the red light goes off and you alerts it, knowing that TJ is going to be a cutter, a hustle guy, got to keep the ball active.
How about that game winner too, where he faked like he was going to go set a screen, then darts right to the basket?
Yeah, and watch this out of bounds play right here. Drawn up, see if they can get it. That's the slip play right there, but the pass was just, need to throw that a little bit higher to the other side of the lane. TJ may been able to catch it and finish.
2 2-1 teams looking to put their stamp on the top of the standings. And an opportunity to do that here at the midway point in week 4. White gets it in, gonna take airs off the dribble, strength. How did he flip that up and in?
Okay, boys, let's see you. Old MJ flip shot underneath inside the basket, but the closer you get, the better odds are you'll make it in. Oh, hold that time by TJ Klein inside on the airs. Can we go back and see that? Royce, bully ball, but then there's the finesse right there at the end. MJ made that popular in the 90s.
Doesn't matter how long players have been doing it, extreme, high level of difficulty. Even that close.
But it makes it look easy though. You know what I mean? It really does. If you work on that little shot, beautiful pass by Barbosa.
Players can't quite finish. But both these teams so unselfish, moving the ball. Barely see a lot of one-on-one ISO play, but there, White going straight to the basket.
Well, that's another addition, I think, game-wise and planning-wise for the ball hogs, how you recruit and draft. Rick Barry also said the third component of why they're 2-1 is that they're playing the way he wants them and envisioned them playing, which is very similar to Power, which is a lot of ball movement and player movement to create some easier scoring opportunities.
Nancy Lieberman, head coach since 2018, was the 2018 Big Three Coach of the Year and champion as Barbosa. A long two gets it to go. Barbosa now with 7 to go along with 2 assists, just orchestrating everything out there. And it's his head down because it only touched the backboard. Barbosa could just put that back up and in. Timeout on the floor. Hogs leading 13-12 here in the first in Memphis.
We're not going to go with the 30. We're just going to go with let them play because they're out. Yeah, absolutely. Let me know what's playing.
I got 2 more tickets though. I got 2 more tickets. Let's take the one side. Who wants to calm down right now? Who wants to calm down right now? Let me hear you!
Each week, fans can help select the Microsoft Big 3 Player of the Week. Go online to Big3.com or Big 3 social media accounts to vote. We'll reveal the results from Week 4 during next Sunday's games. And congratulations to Dante Green for winning Player of the Week last week. Between games, an incredible honor for Big 3 founder Ice Cube, who was honored with the key to the city for his work specifically with Black youth here in Memphis. You can see how big his smile is as the mayor and city leaders made an appearance here to thank him in person with that key to the city.
Yeah, because it's bigger than the game. It's just not what we see on the court. It's his impact on the community and what he can bring to not only the mature adults that are here, but the youth that are here, especially in Memphis, going through their struggles at times with crime and violence. But to provide some kind of opportunities, Cube is all about that. Congratulations, and well deserved, of course.
And we see throughout every Big 3 city how many kids are here, how they are welcomed in whatever city it is, and the impact the Big 3 can have in a fun afternoon. The air ball, it's Jeff Ayers, slams it down.
You see the kids right there enjoying the moment, their activity, their engagement. You know, just Jerome Williams, shout out to Jerome Williams, who does an excellent job of teaching in the clinics and everything with the kids when they come in town early. The involvement in this power offense and really catch the blue that late.
And still more going, and Howard just struggling to put it away. Is about tumbling to the ground.
You know, sometimes you've been around this long. A layup as simple as it is, sometimes can be as difficult as you see 1, 2, 3, 4 drives by power just to get the ball. Now the ball does fit. We know that. It fits in the rim, but on that possession, Power couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Hey, but credit to Jeff Ayers. He stood his ground in the paint. He made that difficult. Another foul. It is going to go on Barbosa. He's number 3 on the ball. Hogs here in the first half. 1st to 6 leads to the bonus. Free throw shot for 2 points and possession as Klein lines it up from 3. Good effort on the boards by Mitchell. Still one result of 2.
We talked about the importance of this game. The last 5 champs after 3 games average about a little over 2.5 wins a game. So both these teams are where they need to be in regards to competing, not just for the playoffs, but for a championship.
Power with possession. 0 for their last 7. They go to Bill.
Did you see the play coming out underneath? It was an inbounds pass, quick pick and roll. The defense reacting slow, and Cat was able to make the play. Let's get the ball inside to Akil Mitchell.
Take lessons from Nancy Lieberman's out-of-bounds play. Someone who has coached professionally in the WNBA, the G League, the NBA, now here, played as well.
Hall of Famer, played in the men's league professionally. You know, from New York, understands the toughness, but very high IQ. But the communication part is what's important. When you're coaching, you gotta have talent, you gotta figure it out. But it's how you communicate your agenda in regards to how you want to play and how your players respond to you. And all good coaches understand the communication aspect of the game.
And how you give them autonomy and freedom while still coaching at the same time, finding that balance of respect and camaraderie.
Well, listening to the voice of your players, I think, is very important, but having respect of your players when it's time for you to make an executive decision is also important.
Barbosa over hierarchy shot all the way, but put back nothing. Summer standing his ground in the post, forcing an awkward hook shot, and it doesn't fall through either. One-point game is Barbosa. The reverse stop, the step, and then the finish.
Easy money once Barbosa turned the corner. Why? Is because once you got by his initial defender, the help wasn't there. And again, 3-on-3, you don't have a weak side defender to come over to take that away and smartly used the rim and went to the opposite side to score.
I can only imagine how demanding on your time being an NBA assistant is, but he's still the Brazilian blur.
Yeah, he has some time because he loves to play the game, right? As he turns a corner, TJ Klein doesn't help. I don't know why, because you don't have a shooter in Summers. If he takes the baseline away, the ball goes back out, you can recover or force Summers to shoot the shot, but poor defensive rotation that time, which resulted into an easy basket. Barbosa giving them a 3-point lead.
Royce White checking back in for Klein. Glenn Rice coming in for Mitchell. New to this team, already named an assistant captain by Nancy Lieberman, which I think says a lot about him. His international experience, he's played in the G League as well. Rice threading the needle to White. That is power basketball. That is what this team does so well. 4 players averaging between 7 and 11 points, just so incredibly balanced, unselfish, hard to guard. Mobley for 3, and that rims out. Meeks will go clear. 3 on the shot clock. Johnson knows it. One-point game, ball hogs on top. 2-1 teams here in week 4. What a move! Rice getting past Meeks.
What isolation on that side of the court, Rice was able to be tricky with it, knowing that the help was going to be tough to come.
8 points for Rice. Meeks gets around to score. Rice, we mentioned last year's Big 3 Rookie of the Year, continues to elevate his game as well. 2nd in assists per game, not just looking to score.
He had some big-time game winners last year for Power.
Power, that's Royce White driving against anyone.
We go back to possession before, a couple possessions. Here's Rice, one-on-one with Meeks, a little crossover, baseline.
We're going to have a Bring the Fire presented by Taco Bell. 2 players involved go one-on-one unique to this Big 3 brand of basketball. It will be Royce White going against Jalen Johnson. You can challenge any shooting foul. 2 players involved going one-on-one. Each team gets 1 challenge per half. And we we have seen defense dominate today.
I
No
think
pressure, Jalen Johnson.
I think offense wins on this one. I think offense wins.
Right backing down Johnson, the spin, and there it is. You called it, Jim. You saw it coming.
Well, the matchup favored Royce White in this. He was going to power, but get to his spot, and he didn't play around with it. Okay, he attacked right here. Now you have the defense committed. Jalen Johnson to one side, spin, glass, bucket.
Nothing else he can do.
No. But that's one-on-one basketball, right? You know that, Slow.
Tries it again.
Oh, great recognition by Jody Meeks. Right? White didn't hit the rim.
That's what you see with these two teams who are 2-1. You don't see those lapses when you can take advantage of those poor shot selection.
Well, you don't have those droughts offensively. Maybe a couple possessions, and Nancy Lieberman Klein, coach, return the favor here.
Back to back. Bring the fire. Let's do it again. It's going to be Meeks. And is it Mobley who was held the foul? Meeks will try to make it 2-0 for offense in this game. And the second today. But he's arguing this. Is there no bring the fire here, perhaps? I was looking forward to this matchup.
What? We got to get an explanation to.
Looks like there will not be one. Ball Hogs leading 21-20 here in the first half, closing moments of the first.
So what happened was a correctable error. After the Ball Hogs scored, they gave it back to them when it was supposed to go to power. Hence nullifying that actual possession.
Got it. Royce White has just been getting to the rim at will and finishing. Juan Summers guarded by Mobley, former Clipper. Meeks, quick release for three, and he's got it.
When you have a shooter like Jody Meeks who understands spacing, Summers got cut off by good defense by Cat, but the relocation by Meeks and then the pinpoint pass allowed him to get the open shot. Speaking of which, power right back at him with ball movement, body movement, resulting into a three that takes us to the half.
A fantastic first half in the third game of our triple header. Ball Hogs in power, leaving it all on the floor here in Memphis. More to come here after these messages and a word from your local station.
Coach's timeout. Yeah. Because they're running behind. Obviously, they get the break, but we're not going to take a break offhand. So we'll get them back on.
How y'all feeling out there today? I said, how y'all feeling out there today? You know today was a good day. Give me that. Your numbers.
regards to wins and losses. The reason why is very simple. One, you have multiple players that can knock down 3-point shots. Excellent ball movement player. As a result, you have teams that can score the basketball. I'm not going to say relatively easy, but you can see that and they're both outstanding coaches. So eventually we have a close game as we head into the second half, which we expect.
For the Ball Hogs, Leandro Barbosa stood out with his scoring and his playmaking.
It helps when you have space to operate. He's won championships. He understands what winning basketball is all about. He puts his head down. He's still quick enough to get around people. Speaking about scoring the ball, building off what he was able to have last year as rookie of the year. Impossible to stop once he gets one-on-one, whether that's on the wing or in the middle of the court.
Here's how their stats line up. Efficient, nice for both of them. Hitting the boards as well. Barbosa with a couple of assists in there. At one point that accounted either scoring or assisting on all of his team's points, 11 and 8 points respectively. But the Ball Hogs, Jim, they shot 48% in that first half.
Well, think about how many forced shots they took, which is not a lot. So a lot of it came off of either you had a nice little drive to the basket, or when the help came, it was a drive and kick or recognition when, Power may not have touched the rim to be able to get an easy basket. So very efficient offensively.
Ball Hogs having to start this second half trailing by 1, but very close in the first as Ayers goes all the way. Ayers with a couple of buckets, 5 rebounds as well. Stout presence inside. Rice trying to pick up where he left off in the first half, and he's fouled before that shot. It's a hard player to keep in front of you.
That's tough in the middle of the court. I mean, you see that on all levels of basketball, whether that's the NBA, WNBA. If you can get a highly talented player in the middle of the court, it's tougher to pinch in and take away that, the drive or the jump shot. It's tough to help in the middle.
Rice flips it up and in. It's an interesting timing play. He's outside the paint. He's trying to catch his defender off guard.
A little bit. It's like right there, middle of the court. Rice able to get away with maybe a little contact on Barbosa.
He got turned around there as Barbosa just shot right to the rim.
And I guess it's a matter of pick your poison too. Do you want to help when you have a lethal offensive player in the middle of the court to help a little bit more to force him to give it up? Then you're liable for, if you have a shooter on the same side, 3-point shot that's open.
Mobley follows his miss. Drops it off to White. There's the unselfish ball. It does go.
Hey, listen, that's a tougher shot than what it looks like, because he could have probably used the backboard a little bit, but was a little bit inside of it. So soft touch, and speaking of touch, he's not able to knock it in.
Oh, I totally agree that shot's way harder than it looks, especially after such an unselfish pass, too, where you think, I better not mess this up, because White could have gone up with it himself. Yeah,
he could have. He gave it up in very unselfish play. That in-between shot, little floater, little push shot. That time, Power got called for not clearing. I think it was a clearing violation and why they didn't get the basket. And Barbosa makes him pay, ties this game up.
He's got now 14 points. Tied up at 29. And those are the details that you have to pay attention to. Established beyond the three-point line is how the rules are written. Off the turnover, it's Meeks off the finish.
I tell you, when you have 2 active guards like Ball Hogs have, you may give up a little bit of size, but you make up for it in plays like that, which Leonardo Barbosa was able to strip Lynn Rice Jr. and get an easy basket for his backcourt mate, Jody Meeks.
He's got 13 and 11 years respectively in the NBA between those two. Mobley attacking and finishing. He's got 5, but has worked the glass as well. Just balanced all around for Powers. Meeks wraps it around to Barbosa, up and over White. just stopping on a dime.
7 assists right now for the Ball Hogs.
That's something they do so well. They shoot efficiently, share the ball too. Royce White puts that up and in. Think about their last win last week against the Ghost Ballers. They were 18 of 29, 8 of 13 from three-point range, and you do that by moving the ball, sharing it.
You do. And making quick decisions with the ball. At that time, not a great decision by Ayers who tried to flick it back to Barbosa.
Power immediately capitalizes to go up by 2.
Yeah, and those are the, as you get late into the game, value in the basketball and not giving it up like that where you give your opponent an easy basket, takes away momentum, provides an opportunity for your opponent to creep ahead of you. That's a foul on the pick here.
Barbosa trying to make his way to the rim, a foul. Away from the ball is Klein going to check in to replace Mobley.
Yeah, that was on Jeff Ayers trying to set that pick. So now you had the turnover by Ayers, which resulted in the basket. Then you had the foul, which gives up an opportunity that took away a layup by Barbosa. It's the little things that cost you games in late game situations.
Going back door is Klein. He is hacked. That was a great connection between Rice and him. Another example with this team.
TJ Klein's one of those players you got to keep your eye on to keep in front of you. Because right here, Jody Meeks gets caught ball watching because Glenn Rice Jr. is such a dynamic player in the middle of the court. He's watching it. TJ Klein did a smart thing, head to the rim, and you see Rice Jr., I think it's Jeff Ayers kind of drawing back and forth.
A little chippy there, and now Ayers and White are talking. Maybe Barbosa trying to be that peacemaker between the two. A little pat on the back from Meeks.
Yeah, but Coach Rick Barry recognized that too, that it could be a detriment to their team because of that. So he gives Jeff Ayers a little moment to recalibrate on the sideline, get his mind right. Because you don't want an emotional player making a play. Because again, he had 2 mistakes in the last 2 plays. So probably best to sit him down a little bit more together. So.
And that's knowing your players. And if you're someone like Rick Barry, a Hall of Famer who's been in this game for decades, you know how to read people.
Well, he's seen every aspect of basketball. And he's smart enough to recognize that TJ Klein guarding Leonardo Barbosa on the perimeter is not in favor of power.
Here's Rice. One-on-one against Meeks, too short. Right there for the putback is White. 37-35 is the power lead. Both teams battling to get to 3-1.
Game over. Halftime. 10 at halftime, right?
Let's take a look at today's monster moment. And, you know, if you come to a Big 3 game, there's a chance some entertainment's going to break out. Today, Ice Cube entertaining the crowd in Memphis. Performing today. It's a good day.
You better believe it's a good day in Memphis. Anytime you can get Cube behind the mic. The hip-hop legend, brother. But he's taken it to so many different heights in regards to what he wanted to do. Just not regulating himself to being behind the mic. Producing movies, of course. Political advocacy, you know, working with youth. So like I said, the game itself is one thing, but the game that he's playing with is much bigger.
And how about him taking the mic for us here on CBS at the end of game one, doing a post-game interview, showing truly how multifaceted he is.
Okay. Listen, he's been on TV and picking up a mic to do an interview is nothing cute. That's easy.
35-37 is the Ball Hogs deficit right now, but it has been close this entire game in game three of a doubleheader here. 3 more games to go still on Big3.com at the conclusion of this one here in Memphis in week 4. We called it moving day earlier today, Jim, and that's what it's felt like so far. A high-level ball as teams try to position themselves for the playoffs in the Big 3.
Get that game, stay above 500, get to 3-1, separate yourself. Easier said than done, especially when you have 2 of the top teams playing, in week 4. But that's what you want, the competition aspect.
White, long range. That's left way short, trying to beat that shot clock. Barry, the head coach of the Ball Hogs, trying to take this team to the playoffs for the first time in its history since 2017. Barbosa toying with White, loses it. Great effort, but Klein is injured. Meeks and Klein were going all out to try and get that loose ball. That's how much both these teams want this win. Klein gets up by himself.
First to the floor, a lot of times retains possession. TJ Klein got the worst of that one. Jalen Johnson going for it.
He's staying on the floor. Got up under his own power. His team leads by 2 here in the second half. Rice against Meeks. He's that one short. Barbosa can't get over his own teammate.
We got travel.
And what a turnover.
I tell you what, with these two teams too, I don't think as we come down the stretch to win this game, I think the defense is going to tighten up a little bit. We saw some freedom of movement a little bit earlier, but I think both teams now recognize that it's that time of the game. The defense is going to win the game. So you got to be smart with the basketball, keep the spacing in place.
It's been high level, played well between these two teams.
Wow.
Klein is fouled by Barbosa.
Team foul number 4 for Ball Hogs. Power 0 team fouls right now in the second half. Should be huge benefit for them down the stretch of the game.
Fouls leads to the bonus. 1-shot free throw for 2 points. Rice no good off glass, plus
Loose
the
ball.
possession.
Loose ball foul. And see, again, that's TJ Klein, his activity, because he wouldn't stand still. He's always moving, looking for an opportunity to keep the possession alive. Johnson a little bit late. TJ able to get inside of him, ultimately picking up that foul, but I think they may have called it on. They called it on TJ on that one? I thought they called it on Johnson. Yes, they did, because the ball went to Ball Hogs.
Meeks tries to throw it off of Klein. Howard with possession once more. Mitchell flips it up.
Push shot.
4-point lead now for Power. It's been hard for either of these teams to get separation.
Well, you expect that too. The 2 best teams, it's not going to be a blowout win or team up 10 points or 8 points. It's going to come down to making plays, and right there, beautiful driving kick. Meeks not able to knock it in.
Klein, speed, and Meeks is able to put it back up and in.
Well, because Klein was anticipating probably some contact, he overshot that a little bit too much and smartly Again, not hitting the rim. Ball Hogs able to take advantage of it, cut the lead to 2.
Rice orchestrating things. Looks for the deep post up to Mitchell, and the whistle will go against Jalen Johnson. Big 3 rookie out of Louisville.
Well, the pick and roll game got Jody Meeks on to kill Mitchell inside mismatch, but the pass was placed perfectly. Mitchell to catch and turn. Jody Meeks, all he could do is attempt to slap down at the ball and prevent a layup.
Mitchell in his first big 3 season truly cannot get that free throw, which would have been worth 2 points, which is why your coach is harping on it nonstop. Johnson, long 3, he's got it. Or is that 4?
No, it was,
that was
3. Yeah. Johnson able to step back, take that shot. Showing a little versatility in his game, which will force Shaquille Mitchell now, if he's back out there, to step up a little bit more.
Deep inside again, it is Mitchell. He loses it as the double team collapses. And it is ball hog ball.
Mitchell moving a little too quickly, trying to get the shot up before he had full possession of the rock.
Barbosa snatched away by Rice. Klein poked away and they give it right back. Meeks attacked, another turnover, and a block and a foul. A lot of action on that possession, back and forth.
A lot of layups, I think, come down the stretch of this game. Klein with the turnover. Meeks kind of takes it into traffic. Mitchell recognizes that you don't have to clear it out to the 3-point line, gets it inside to Klein. Back at the free throw line. Here's do we have the bring the fire?
Rick Barry,
okay.
He's going to bring the fire. The 2 teams, or rather 2 players involved, are going one-on-1. Saw offense win today after earlier our triple header was dominated by defense, but it's Barbosa against Klein.
I like it. I like it. No. Hey, but the Barbosa's like you gave him the ball. I can slap it away.
I think we're going to try that again. But good try.
Hey, but smart move by Rick Barrett, because Barbosa defensively, he feels he can get the stop. And TJ, you can't try to overpower him. You can't try to overpower him. I'm going to go back to the mess around. Look, the ball is handed. That's good. But, we used to do that all the time in the playground back in the backyard. As soon as we hand it to our opponent, you slap it away real quick.
Hey, you want to be able to pass in any way possible, the best way possible.
Yeah, but outstanding. Again, that's strategically using that opportunity Rick Barry did.
Also too strong. But you're right about the strategy, because it's not just about bring the fire when you want to contest a call that you don't like. It has to be that matchup. That's going to work for you.
You know what? Great synopsis there, because that one it favored Barbosa to get the stop more so than TJ Klein going to the free throw line for a freebie, so to speak.
Barbosa throws it up and not close. Both these teams have been pretty chippy.
Well, I told you. Look, how many layups? Even when TJ had the layup inside, it was a foul. Barbosa that time wasn't going to have a clear lane. So this is where you got to be strong with the ball, be more patient offensively.
Rice followed his own miss, skying for that board. Was Barbosa, he fouls Klein.
And see, Rick Barry already used bring the fire. So let's see on this possession, the ball goes up, Klein gets the ball, and Barbosa gets all of that. He has a legit beef right there. that he had all ball, and Rick Barry dodged one bullet before with these two. Barbosa couldn't just handle the basketball on the defensive rebound.
One shot for 2 points for Klein. He takes advantage. I'm with you there, Jim. I think that
it was a good. It was a good block. The officials missed that one right there. Again, the officials are going to miss some calls. It's unfortunate that when it's later in the game like this, it can come back to impact. You can't power come back and.
Klein and Barbosa go at it again, and a wedgie.
Our first wedgie of the day.
It is.
We got our first wedgie.
We've had our first offense winning in this game, our first wedgie.
First wedgie. But it's the slip screen. TJ a little bit more size than Barbosa inside, and that's a difficult shot to make right there. In regards to getting that wedgie in there, you gotta have some talent to do that. Bro.
So Klein shoot the one free throw for 2 points yet again, showing how important it is at the charity stripe.
Able to make some more separation here. It's a 3-point game. So critical down the stretch.
First to 50 wins, it is officially crunch time, especially for the Ball Hogs. As they've let Power get to the free throw line. Barbosa off the floor for the Ball Hogs.
Which is interesting because now the big and you're not going to be able to rotate that time. Royce White only with his 8-point. He had 10 at halftime, but his 8th point in the second half. I don't think Barbosa's going to be sitting down too long. Coach Barry chose to make the substitution unless he thought that Barbosa needed a quick break.
Meeks over the outstretched arm just as he played.
Are you kidding? That's called touch. Sloan, that's called touch. A little low.
Beautiful big shot.
Touch with a little luck.
White can't get it in the air. A 2-point game. Meeks hard drive, and it just falls out one more time. And one.
Well, the initial defense, Royce White stays straight up in the air, forces Jody Meeks to maneuver the shot, but as a shooter, it coming off short. Royce White kind of out of the play, allowed Meeks to regain, that offensive rebound. Put himself in position for a 3-point play. More importantly, put his team up by 1. Again, you got to win this. I know it's up to 50, but you got to win by 2. Keep that in mind.
These teams have been step in step. Very little separation throughout this entire contest. A matchup we could end up seeing later on this season in the postseason as Bryce gets all the way for 2. Bryce extending his defense as Meeks working off the screen. Contested shot, doesn't matter. Meeks has come up big time and time again. The 3-point play and then the 3. Power trailing. It is Rice.
Are you kidding me? But the game is not over.
50 to 49.
The game is not over.
Have to win by 2, which the referees are reminding the players who are starting to walk off the floor.
Well, Rick Barry hit the deck like he lost the game, like it was over. You know what I mean? And getting caught up in the moment, he forgot that miscalculating, got to win by 2.
And Meeks has a good block. And he's good off glass in a 1-point game. Look at some extras here in game 3. 51-50 is the Ball Hogs lead.
Well, I think you can get an old-fashioned 3-point play. Drive it, get the amp.
Bryce is going for it. Follows his own shot all the way. Klein dishes it off. It goes out. Multiple chances for Power.
We have an edge of your seat. Nail body game.
It goes back like to look at this and see who went out on the officials are.
Official review.
Ball Hogs with a 1-point lead, 51-50. Jody Meeks has come up huge, and this is the play currently under review.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Yes, sir.
To determine possession of this ball.
So it was ruled on the floor, white ball, but they wanted to look at it. So does it hit Meeks' hand? Jody's at the end. We see where Glenn Rice has a finger on it, but it hits. They're saying that it hit Jody Meeks' hand right there, off his thumb, and white ball.
And it is going to be white ball.
Critical possession, critical call, because if it goes back to Ball Hogs, now you got an opportunity to get 53 points, win by 2, walk out of here with a dub. Ball Hogs has an opportunity to go up by 1 or to win it with the 3.
That's right. First team to 50 wins, but you must win by 2, which is why we are carrying on here. Game 3 of our triple header. 2 teams 2-1 this season, tightly contested.
Ball Hogs have to be smart. Don't foul on a shot.
Rice throws up the 3. It's tipped out. Good effort on that loose ball.
Yeah. But, you know, here's where attention to detail is really important for both teams. You don't want to bail out your player by fouling them and they score the ball. So now that, you know, on both ends of it, it costs you dearly the game.
Royce White just gets it into Rice. Guarded by Meeks. The crossover has worked so well today, almost loses it. Flips it up and in. Still a 1-point lead.
This is all with Barbosa, Leonardo on the bench, but gives you a little bit more rebounding. Let's see if Rick Barry makes a decision to bring Leonardo Barbosa back in the game. I'm not for sure yet.
He has been on the bench throughout this late part of the game. Tonight on CBS begins with NCIS Hawaii, followed by back-to-back editions of 48 Hours. That's tonight on CBS. The Big 3 will also be continuing. 3 more games to go after the conclusion of this one. This will be over on big3.com. Here from Memphis, with the Ball Hogs in power, making a statement. This is one of the best games, I think, of the year, Jim.
Just what we expect, just what we needed too, in regards to 2 of the top teams not disappointing. I think that young man is having a great time right now. Big 3 at Memphis.
Seeing some great basketball too.
Yeah, Barbosa back in the game. Rick Barry specifically called that timeout in order not only to get Barbosa back in the game, but to draw up a play.
Ball Hogs trailing by 1. Meeks has it against White, throws up the 3, it's left way short. Barbosa continues the possession, 2 seconds on the clock, no good. Power with it now, leading by 1. It is Clyde for 3. White is going to call it timeout, or no, we're going to continue to play.
He called it twice.
It is Rice, and there's the game winner. A hard-fought contest goes Power's way. 54-51 is the final.
So you don't get the timeout called for you. You continue to play, and then you're able to win the game. So a couple errors down the stretch. Not to say the game was perfect, but at that particular moment, Power continued to play on. Critical error that time by the officials not to call it. And Rice Jr. gets down the lane, and Meeks a little late to the party to contest the shot. Wow. What a game between the 2 top teams.
It went down to the wire. It was close from the outset. And you see Power celebrating to move to 3-1 this season. They entered today tied for first in terms of scoring margin. They were plus 20 coming in. Of course, a close win today. but they will stay at the top of those standings. Power 3-1. The Ball Hogs falling to 2-2 this season, but still very much in contention. You see the Triplets winning today. They are also 3-1. And then 3 more games to go here at FedEx Forum in Memphis. We're going to have more coming your way here from Memphis. A great afternoon of Big 3 basketball. It's Power and Nancy Lieberman coming out on top in Game 3.
Are you going to do a recap? Okay.
This is not organized. I'm sorry.
That's
I have
right.
the tabs
No.
open if you want to. It's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Trilogy, 3 at a cross. Trilogy. Avoids a 3-game losing streak. 100.
Are we getting any interviews or anything?
Going on camera.
Game 3 in Memphis, a fantastic one. Power coming out on top, 54-51. Slow mark, Jim Jackson here with you to wrap things up from our Big 3 triple header, and that felt like a big game here in Big 4. Teams looking to position themselves to the playoffs, and this almost felt like a playoff game.
It felt like a playoff game between the 2 top teams. But again, both coming in at 2-1, and why this game was important, because at the middle of the season, the teams that can begin to separate themselves have an advantage going into the second half of the season, and Power kind of figuring out a way to win the game when it got a little ugly late in the game. But both teams played extremely hard. It was some critical errors down the stretch of the game, but the team that stayed fast was able to make some plays. Power able to finish it off with a W.
And it did take big plays. We saw Jody Meek score 8 straight at one point, and then it was just Power able to come away with the victory. Glenn Rice, last year's Rookie of the Year in the Big 3, turning into an all-around playmaker here. This was toward the end of the game. You see that shot? He was able to come up big again.
Well, but both teams are very similar in what they wanted to accomplish and how they want to play. Ball movement, player movement, being able to spread the court, making sound decisions. And then when you make a mistake like that by Jody Meeks, you got to be solid defensively. Now you sacrifice and you compromise your defense. Glenn Rice Jr. able to take advantage of it, hit the shot, walk away with the dub.
That was the game winner from 3. Power 2 of 16 from beyond the arc. And that ends up being the winner for Glenn Rice Jr. Able to pull up there in the paint, just making it look so smooth and giving his team the victory, going to 3-1 this season. And that makes a difference because we're already thinking about the playoffs. We're at the midway point right now, and not every team is going to make it to 8 weeks, but these 2 teams certainly are.
But it's ironic, too, that 2 former champions, the Triplets, led by Lisa Leslie, Coach Joe Johnson, of course, Power now by Nancy Lieberman, sit at the top of the ledger at 3-1. So last year tried to kind of lost their footing a little bit, but right now able to regain a lot of that because of the way their team is made construction-wise and the way they are able to play and execute late game situations.
We have 3 more games to go here at FedEx Forum. These will be on Big3.com. Ghost Ballers against Tri-State. Jason Richardson having an MVP-type season. You have Bivouac, who is another one of your surprises coming in. Another thing you were right about, Jim.
No, not yet. It's still early.
It's true. I don't want to speak too soon.
It's still, don't speak too soon.
Things are looking good for them at this point, especially compared to last year. The Killer Threes and the Player of the Week, Dante Green, and then Enemies and Aliens. Aliens still looking for their first win this season. And here's what you saw earlier today here on CBS. 3-Headed Monsters without last year's MVP in Kevin Murphy. They fall to Trilogy 50-36. Triplets, a close one against Three's Company. What we just watched with Power, the winner, 54-51. Glenn Rice Jr. able to net it, even though it looked like Royce White was calling a timeout. They just continued playing.
He did call it, but the official missed it. And I'm going to go back to the scoreboard. very important for the Triplets. The defending champ won 2 in a row, lost 2 in a row. Coming into this week, able to avoid losing 3, got themselves back to 500. Isaiah Briscoe will hopefully be back next week.
More to come here from Memphis as we wrap things up on an exciting afternoon of Big 3 action. Still more to come. Keep it with us. You can make it, Jim.